Okay, wonderful. Wonderful to see you all here. Glad you could join me tonight. Cancer new moon. It's a special night, and it's a reverent time, I suppose is a good word for this one. Just time to come into the heart. That's really what all new moons are about. So this one's iconic in a way because Cancer is the moon's home sign. So the moon is at 18 degrees Cancer, which is where the sun is today. And the moon, the new moon, any new moon, is a conjunction of the moon and the sun. So just to refresh on that, how do you feel about that? About anything, whatever it is, the answer to that question is a response from the moon. It's our emotional response to life. So how do you feel about that? That's the moon. The sun is our being. So it's where we radiate from. It's who we are. It's our identity, our conscious identity, and our ego. We put all these words on it, but it's really just that inner radiation or that external radiation of our being. And so how are we aligning our heart with our being? And that's a new moon topic right there. That's the new moon topic. How are we aligning our heart with the source of our being? And so that's why a new moon is a time to just have a little quiet time to yourself, to spend some time in your own heart and see how you're feeling. And particularly with this new moon in Cancer. Cancer, as I said, is the moon's home sign. It's the sign of the crab. The sign of the turtle is another ancient symbol associated with the moon. So with Cancer, I mean. So any animal with a shell there. So it's denoting a certain sensitivity and a need to protect oneself. The shell is kind of this layer of protection. So it's really important for a Cancer, for all of us really at some level, but particularly for Cancers, it'd be really important to have boundaries, to protect your own sensitivity. So have space for yourself to go inside and spend time at home or just by yourself wherever you like to be. That's good Cancer advice, and particularly for a Cancer moon. So it's a time that invites all of us to do that, to kind of come home to our heart and just feel the love that's there. Find that sense of of forgiveness and repose. So this new moon in Cancer, it really pulls that up. It pulls up the feelings. And we'll talk about a couple of the aspects going on. It's trying to Neptune in Pisces, another water sign. So again, reinforcing, pulling up those feelings. And you really a sense with Neptune of longing to that. And, a sense of like, wanting to connect with something greater than ourselves we can't quite put our finger on, can't quite put a name or a word to, but it's just that longing for home. That's a very Neptunian experience. And so that's trying to the moon here. So really, yeah, pulling up a lot of feelings and a good time for reflection on that. However to journal or to do art or just be quiet or whatever you like to do. A really good time for that. Another of the big aspects that we're going to talk about, I'll pull up the chart in just a minute here and we'll look at it, but the moon is opposing Pluto. So it's in the opposite sign that Pluto is in right now, and it's directly across from that. So Pluto is in Capricorn right now, in the sign of Capricorn, moon obviously in the sign of Cancer. So Cancer and Capricorn, they represent a polarity in the chart, as do all of the signs: Aries, Libra, Taurus, Scorpio, Gemini, Sagittarius, and Cancer, Capricorn. And so Capricorn is about, Pluto in Capricorn particularly is about coming to really respect our strengths and, tune into what really matters. Pluto is that sense of tuning into what really matters and, really asking ourselves, what are we willing to let go of that's standing in the way of our goals, our achievements, our ability to be self-reliant, to be mature, to our next step in maturing in life, whatever that is. It's a very Capricornian kind of thing. Our next step in reaching our goals but really in this opposition to the moon, it's about our heart and our next step in aligning with our heart and our greater purpose in life, really from an emotional level. In other words, what stands in our way? What do we really need to let go of? What needs to die? See, that's the Pluto, in order for us to step into the next level of maturity. And this is a time of consideration. So this whole year we're being asked that. Pluto's a planet of slow themes and slow movements, and it's retrograde right now. So it's really an introspective time along that theme of, of what stands in our way of stepping into a new level of maturity. So what are we ready to let go of there? Pluto always asks us to let go of something in some sense. So that's part of the seed for this new moon. New moon in Cancer. So yeah, it's really a really intense time. Like I said, lots of feels. I'm going to go ahead and share this screen and show you what I'm talking about here. Feels. I'm going to go ahead and share this screen and show you what I'm talking about here. Feels. I'm going to go ahead and share this screen and show you what I'm talking about here. Feels. I'm going to go. Sorry about that. I think we got it under control. Okay, so here, technical difficulties. Mercury is out of its shade right now, by the way. So Mercury, goes retrograde 3 times a year, 3-4 times a year, and it moves backwards, and then it goes forward, stations directly saying it goes forwards again. So just yesterday, Mercury was in the period which it was in from the time it went retrograde. And so just today is the first day we've been out of that retrograde period or location where Mercury was hanging out, in here for the last 4 weeks, 6 weeks, maybe, with this kind of extension of the shadow. So at any rate, we're just past Mercury going direct. We should be full steam ahead again. And so here we have the full moon, the new moon at 18 degrees Cancer, like we said. And there's some other things going on in this chart, but they're more reflective of, I think, what we've been through in this week, in this lead up. So we see, through the year, we've been talking about this square between Saturn and Uranus. And so just this week, just a couple of days ago, we had Mars and Venus opposing Saturn and making this into a T-square. So you may have experienced some unsuspecting, some surprising things happen at that time with Uranus on this T-square. Uranus is the planet of revolution and surprises and things happening just unexpectedly. So it may be upsetting, maybe fortuitous. Really depends here having to do though with the nature of Saturn, again, that theme of maturity. And here Venus and Mars is relationship. I mean, Mars is what are we doing? Venus is what do we want? What do we want? What are we doing to get what we want? And Venus is a lot of relationship or relating with other people. And so with them there together in Leo, it's really a time shining in a relationship, but it's and it just depends where it aspects an individual's chart with that. But for all of us, it's been opposing Saturn here, which is asking to integrate maturity, integrate new ideas that work for both of us. How do we come to a new level of maturity in our relationship? And Uranus shakes it up, brings a little freedom, a little unexpected surprise, maybe unexpected yum, maybe unexpected something not so nice. That's hard to say, depends on the person. But at any rate, something which helps step into that new level of maturity in our relationships. So that's kind of set the stage for the week. And then the other big thing that set the stage is Mercury, and not only coming through the shade that it was in, but Mercury being square to Neptune. So this was just yesterday, and today, I think, today and yesterday, because this chart is actually for 9/17 tomorrow evening. when the new moon is. Mercury square Neptune. Now this could be a little tricky. Mercury's our perceptions, it's our mind, our thoughts, our ideas, our communication. And Neptune is the great sea of all being. Neptune is how we connect with things beyond words. And so this could be a really confusing time, actually, a time which brings up, potentially just deception or confusion or not understanding words, not understanding ideas, susceptibility to want to make everything into one easy thing, that you just believe whatever. Whoops. That, it's a time when beliefs, Neptune and Pisces, beliefs often are tied to that feeling of our connectedness to all being. It's a kind of beyond words kind of thing. But anyway, those our beliefs can really get in our way there too. And so what are we thinking about and what are we believing in, is a big theme with this. And then with the new moon and this time right now up until tomorrow is really a time of letting go too, and of releasing and coming back into a place of silence. It's been the whole last quarter of this moon cycle coming up to the new moon, so to say, for the last week or so is really a time of letting go, of releasing, of reassessing through the whole period from the full moon to the new, and then letting go of what's ready to be let go of and shed. And so, this Mercury square Neptune is asking us, what are we ready? What are we letting go of in terms of our beliefs? And, are there places we're buying into beliefs that maybe that aren't serving us? And so it's really just upgrading that structure of belief in our lives. So how do we find faith in that which is beyond us? And it's asking us to, really just clue into a vision around that, key into a vision around that. I'm talking about Neptune in Pisces here, which is trine to the new moon. And it was just squared in Mercury this week. So it was talking about perceptions of all this with the Mercury leading up to this. And then relationship and that unexpected things, happening in relationship. So these are the things that are leading up to this new moon. And now with Neptune and Pisces here, again, just the highest expression of that is our dreams, our connection to what is greater, what do we dream to, what do we really want to bring into this world. If we're not careful, Neptune and Pisces, though, it's really idealistic. It's really susceptible to big ideas that have no grounding in reality, that feel good in Pisces, that feel great, but are maybe utopian or maybe just unrealistic. So that's the side to watch out for with Neptune and Pisces. But providing you're staying grounded, you're working out, you're doing qigong, or you're sitting on the earth and staying grounded, then connecting with Neptune, can really, these Neptunian energies right now can really connect you with something high, and you can have some good meditations, have some good visions come to you. Watch for your dreams, or another Neptunian thing. So during this time, the new moon, tonight, tomorrow night, just pay attention to your dreams with Neptune trine to the new moon. You may be able to ask your higher self a question before bed and then receive some kind of response in your dreams. So the other thing that's connected here is that Neptune is sextile to Pluto. So these two are connected. And also the moon. Okay, sorry. Also, the moon is opposite to Pluto. Yeah, so the new moon is opposing Pluto, and then it's trine to Neptune. So it's trine, that's an easy influence. That's why I talk about pay attention to your dreams, meditate, and pay attention to the connections you receive, the voices, the impressions, the, whatever it is comes through to asking us to step into Capricorn, pay attention. What are our strengths? We've been in a Cancer time for a while, in a way. We've been attuned to needs with everything that's been happening with the pandemic and all the implications in different realms. There's been a lot of attunement to needs. Do I have what I need? Do I have the money coming in to pay my bills? Do I have the security, the health? Where Cancer attunes to our needs like a mother would fulfill the needs of her child, Capricorn attunes us to our strengths. What are we capable of doing on our own? It teaches us to be self-reliant. So that's kind of a big message of the new moon. And then so just asking ourselves, where can we, what do we need to let go of? What needs to die? What do we we're in this process again. Pluto's retrograde, number of months here, December I think it is, before it turns direct. So then we start living this process. So right now, very reflective on those themes of stepping into, what are our goals when we're in that 100%. Capricorn is all about goals and achievement, and so what can we do really on our own to bring our own strength into this whole thing a little bit more? Everyone wants a quick fix, wants a pill or a shot and be fixed. But what can we do to help ourselves in the situation we're in? That's what this Pluto is asking. All right, and then Pluto sextile to Neptune. So that aspect, I got 3 terms about this that when I started sitting with this a little bit, it came to me. And so these 3 terms are reflective of these 2 planets, Pluto and Neptune. And they're the part of ourselves that archetypally connect to Pluto. Again, as we've been talking, death and rebirth. So, what is on the dark side, our fears, our compulsions, our compulsive behaviors. And on that note, just at this new moon, it could bring up things over the next period of time. What are our compulsive behaviors, especially with this Pluto sextile to Neptune? But our fears and compulsions, and on the high side of Pluto is like what you get from a life of purpose. It's like, I'm going to live something meaningful before I die. So that's the high end of Pluto. With Neptune, the low end is escaping. And that's why I was saying, what are our obsessions, our compulsions and habits and addictions? We could just go that route. And Neptune on the low side is about escaping, and on the high side is about rising above. It's about connecting with something beyond ourselves. So the 3 terms with this, the first one is epic fantasy. Pluto has this nature of epic, an epic nature to it, and Neptune is a fantasy. Neptune is this connection to the dream world, connection to imagery, connection to our own fantasies and dreams and ideals. And so epic fantasy, I also think about this sextile is ongoing for a long time. Pluto sextile to Neptune, I mean, this is going to be going for quite a while here. And so things happen in these periods. One of the things that happened is Tolkien, J.R.R. Tolkien, came up with the Lord of the Rings trilogy during a Neptune-Pluto sextile time. So things like that, epic fantasy, Lord of the Rings is really iconic of that. And it's kind of like starting to see so what I'm saying is, if we're not careful, we start seeing our life as an epic fantasy, or maybe that resonates with us and it's inspiring to us. So, but maybe we need to ground into that. So there's a possibility with this energy, this archetypal energy right now, for the influence of epic fantasy in our life. So whatever that, whatever that means to you in terms of how you see the world, or are open to those aspects of just kind of having that plutonic drive of the epic. Like, when I say epic, I guess I mean that sense of something about this is death defying. Something about this puts that level of intensity to this, whatever it is, this fantasy in this case. So that may be role playing. Are you living an epic fantasy in your mind? Are you playing the role of someone, and is that someone you want to be playing the role of? So that's one of the things that that come up with this new moon. So the next one, next term, I've got 3 of them. So epic fantasy. The next one that came up is kind of funny. Is Deathly Hallows. So I don't know if any of y'all are fans of, Harry Potter fans. I have a young daughter, and we went through all those books. They're awesome, especially the audiobooks. But the Deathly Hallows, and I'm not sure we're back yet. And we're back. Okay, sorry. The Deathly Hallows. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about that. All right. So yeah, I don't know where it cut off. I was talking about the Deathly Hallows, these 3 terms, the epic fantasy, the Deathly Hallows, looking for the signs and symbols. So that's my advice. That's my point with all that Harry Potter lore rambling. Yeah, how do I need to fix this? No, we're good. Okay. The third term that that came to me with this was, okay, the inspirational one, a visionary plan. So a visionary plan here. So this is, visionary comes from Neptune, and a plan, Pluto in Capricorn, a sign of plans. So here's the opportunity in this, look for the signs, be aware of the delusional fantasies you might be living in. And here's the opportunity, is a visionary plan. What is your plan for the future? What do you really want to do with the rest of your life, or with the current life? What is that plutonic drive? What really lights a fire inside of you and makes you want to put together a plan, makes you want to take action steps and do things, grounded things, earth things? This is about the only Well, we got Uranus in Taurus. I was going to say the only planet in an Earth sign right now. thank goodness we got Uranus in Taurus, but Uranus is heck of a sign to have an Earth sign. Heck of a planet. It's really unpredictable. Anyway, I digress. Put together a plan. Tune into your heart. Put together a plan. Come up with a visionary plan. All of this going together. Look for the signs. Look for the symbols. Look for the halos. Is there audio right now? Can you guys hear me? Okay, great. Thanks, Theo. Perfect. So, yes, that is the advice of this new moon, or the coming together, the energies of this new moon. A lot of potential there, a lot of possibility. I pointed out these things that I did, particularly with Neptune and Pluto, because it's what the moon is going to first do after the new moon. You know, like I said, the moon moves about 12 degrees in any one day, 12 or 14 degrees. So within a day, early morning the next day, in fact, I think 9 a.m., it'll come to 23 degrees Cancer, and it'll be right exact trine to that. And then a little bit later, around 11 something, it comes exact opposition to Pluto. So those aspects will come into being after the new moon. You know, they are what we call applying aspects. Whereas all these other things we talk about, Saturn opposite Venus, Mars there, square Uranus, this Neptune, Mercury square, all that's in the past. It's all already happened, and it's separating. So a lot of opportunity in this new moon, in this new moon period, for really, setting your goals, tuning into your dreams, and take some time and do that. I hope you get the chance and take it for yourself, because you're awesome. You deserve it. And we get so busy and tied up with things, just to find a little time to ourselves is such a medicine for the soul. So what better time to do it than the new moon? Tune in with the cosmic cycles that are already happening anyway.